Good evening, this is Melissa with thestockswoosh.com, and today I'm reviewing a trade. This is a gap down in CRUS, okay? This is today, Monday, January 14th. Now here's the thing. This gap was a sympathy play on the gap from Apple. All right, let's just look at this chart really quickly first, and then I'll flip to Apple. This is a sympathy play on Apple. The reason this gap today was because of Apple. Okay, there was some kind of news out on Apple, and so this gapped with it. Okay, there was a correlation here with that. The gap was not great. Okay, it wasn't. It ended up working out really nicely, but it's set up sloppily. All right, and whenever I rate these things, and they rate, you know, a certain way where I see the area and I see it kind of being able to get caught up, I have to watch and see how they trade in the open to see if they start working out correctly or not. Let's just go to Apple really quick here. Apple right now is in a downtrend. I mean, I think that's pretty easy to read, and anybody can see that. I know it rallied up this morning, but Apple's a short right now, okay? I'm not saying Apple is going to drop off the face of the earth, all right? And maybe I'll do a whole video on this one separately. Hold on, I'm trying to maximize this guy. There it is. But today's gap looked like this. This is where Apple opened, all right? So this is not a long, all right? And pre-market, it broke 500. And on the day, it actually broke 500, all right? It looks like a piece of crap now, okay, because it basically has a topping tail and a bottoming tail, and it has a doji bar. But this is a short. I'll do another video on this at another time. Let's go over CRUS right now, all right? CRUS set itself up in a way that by the time it was ready to go, all right, by the time it was situated itself, you know, it had made the bulk of a move. You know, when you get these things and they look great, you take them and you take them with 100% conviction aggressively in the morning. When the gap is not fabulous, you got to back off until it situates itself, and that's just what you got to do, all right? Now, I watched this thing on the open, and I saw it show this immediate weakness, and it's set up right here, and it triggered, and I didn't take it. I didn't take it because the stop was way too big for CRUS. I could have done it, but I didn't feel that it was going to go right there. It didn't open where I wanted it to, so I waited. I never pressed the button. If you'd taken it here, you would have made like 10 cents or whatever you would have made, and you would have had to kill it right here, break even, because it flipped around. I do not like something that is retracing all the way back up to the open here in the first 5 minutes of the day. I don't like that. There's no reason for this to be doing that. This is not a big excessive gap down. I don't like that 100% retracement right away. Did nothing here. I'm waiting. I wait to see if it holds the high of the day here. Still not taking this next entry here because I'm not 100% convinced it's ready to go or that it's even going to work at all yet. And this blows up here, and thank goodness that I didn't press the button. All right. After this blow up here, this is now at a price of 30.46, and at this, that was actually ended up being the high of the day. See it? And in real time, this is green. Now, pretend you didn't see that this happened. In real time, this is green, and it's sitting on the 50, and it's rallying up, and there's a green body here from here to here. So it looks like it's not going to work. What do? You do nothing. Okay? You either find something else to do, or you wait for the trade to properly correct itself and fix itself. There's no way that you would take this short in here that would be crazy to do. Remember, trading is about, you know, calculated risk. There's a reason to do certain things. This was not a fabulous gap. It actually worked out and went right to the target. The target was clear, all right? However, it wasn't fabulous, all right? It did work out better than expected, but that doesn't mean you all of a sudden start shorting like every non-fabulous gap, all right? You wait. You wait for it to tell you it's ready. You wait. You still can't take it. You're waiting. It's starting to look better now. Didn't make a higher high, staying at the high of the day. These are squishing down. It's starting to look better. It's starting to look better. It's starting to look better. Here's where you can take it right in here. Even at this point, though, this is super aggressive, and I still didn't like it yet. All right? I got to be honest with you that I couldn't press the button here because I said to myself, at this point, it's 30.21, and on the daily chart, it's in a terrible area. Here's where it was on the daily chart. At that point still, above the 50, above the 8, hadn't shown proof that it was going to break anything or do anything then, okay? But that is the entry that you could have taken if you wanted to do it, all right? And if you didn't do that, You really didn't get a nice play in this at all. By the time this drops down here, you don't know if it's going to actually break out to the low of the day because it didn't right here. 29.70 is not the low of the day. This is a double bottom, all right, which is why I was not aggressive up here. For all I know, this double bottom's holding. This comes down right into 10:15 reversal time and does not break it. You can short it here if you want, then finally, with a very tight stop of 10 cents. It does end up breaking under 65 and break the low of the day into here, and by that time you're in it. But really, this thing, by the time it set itself up, was going. All right, that's just how it played out today because it was not a pretty setup. It wasn't a pretty setup as far as the daily chart goes. And, you know, that's just how it is. Now, here, you could have gotten a nice movement in here. This had a nice 10-cent stop right around 11 o'clock and did then drop $1 to the target after this. You could have taken it right in here, okay, right here where it triggered at 11 o'clock and put the stop over the 65 base, and it went right to the target. It just bled there then the rest of the day. You never really had a nice entry. You could have taken it here. It's getting way too late, though. Way too late at 11 o'clock to short something. Here was the best entry after the morning stuff, which, again, was very difficult to do. You know, not a lot of calculated risk in this. Here's more calculated risk, and you still get $1 with a 10-cent stop. 10-cent risk with $1 move, okay, because that was 29.59, okay, here. By that time, it was starting to show red and had gone under all these moving averages here, and here was the target down around 28.70 or so. So it had a full dollar, and it actually went a full dollar, and it went beyond it, 28.42. This chart is still lower. This chart is nice. It's a nice chart now. The gap did act correctly today, you know, and if you got it, good for you. Had a nice dollar move in it with a 10-cent stop. I've liked this chart for a long time. I've liked this chart ever since I played these two gaps right here and this one here. But, you know, today the area was touchy. It was touchy. It was touch and go. And you know what? The Apple was rallying all morning, and this broke before Apple and had better follow-through in the day than Apple. It did end up working out. Why? Because the overall chart is still lower, and it's really a continuation gap from these gaps over here and this gap over here. This is a continuation gap that happened today. The reason for it was a sympathy play on Apple, but the chart itself was a continuation gap that was basically playing the overall daily trend of the stock as a continuation move from all the gaps that happened prior, which were powerful and have really affected the chart. Okay, you can see this here. This thing ran up to brand new highs. This is back in September of last year to 45.49 in here. All right. Here it gapped down here. This was in September. And it's pretty much held that gap. Now, I know it dinged above here a little bit, but not that much. It's held this gap here that was around $40.91, $41. And look at the price of it now. It's almost lost half the value. All right. And if you didn't get this as a swing trade here, you could have traded it here or in this bar here. You knew as soon as this bar happened, it was going to break lower into the 200, which is what it did. It barely could contain itself then to even get any kind of rally back up in here. I mean, look at this. This thing dropped off a cliff right in this move in here. Just fell off the face of the planet here after that. Look at that. It's trading in a sideways range now, but it's definitely lower. And today's gap will help that. And actually, let's look at the target of this. Is really here. There it is. Ooh, boy, is that clear. Boy, is that clear. That is really, really clear. That's it. That's the target. $24.75. 25 bucks. $25. There it is. $24.85. $24.65. There it is. That's the target. Nice trade. All right. Nice trade and nice trade today. This is Melissa with thestockswoosh.com. If you're interested in learning how I find these gaps, how I pick these gaps, how I rate these gaps, how I take these entries in these gaps, how I'm looking at these charts to see the entries to take them, then email me at melissa@thestockswoosh.com. I teach a class. It's a 2-day course that I teach on a Saturday and Sunday all day from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time, where I teach how to trade these stocks, how to find them, how to rate them, how to pick them, how to play them. This is important stuff. You cannot trade unless you know what you're doing. You really have to have a strategy that works consistently, and I do. And you got to get the entries right too. And this is all the stuff I teach in the class as well. If you want to get a dollar move with a 10-cent stop, you got to get the entry right. It's possible. It's 100% possible. And you can do it. You just need to know how. And that's something that I can teach you in my class. If you're interested, please feel free to contact me at melissa@thestockswoosh.com. Thanks and have a great night.